Can you imagine? We opened the doors for this university with only 9 students. 9, we were daring enough, eh? 9 students. How can you open a university with 9 students? But as we speak now, we have 1,500 plus students. That's a credit, eh? I think we have room to grow more than that. And I know they say small is beautiful. Starting small is critical, because if we didn't start, we wouldn't be here. So welcome our guests. Karibu sana. Again, we wish to recognize the presence of the governor of Kajiado, His Excellency, who has come together with the Mama County, the First Lady, and we know there are others who are arriving. And Kajiado is so important to AMREF Health Africa. Yeah, you can imagine the Mount Kilimanjaro is just on the border. So sometimes you are there, you're on this on Kenyan side, and the rain is on the other side. You can look at it and see the drops, and you wonder why. Yeah, but that is nature. Yeah. We have a partnership strategy that we work with others to ensure that we reach those that are on the peripheral or in the peripheral of the periphery. Yeah, we might be in the city, but we are not together. And you know, AMREF has been involved in many events, and we have partners who have worked with us. And they're working to see whether they can put a smile, yeah, on people. Yeah, you know, when you are unwell, the smile doesn't come. And I want to recognize Dr. Meshach Nkuti. You know, you did a great job, sir, during the bomb blast. And we appreciate you so much. The reconstructive surgery that you did during those days and you continue doing. And now you're focusing on children. And I was just telling these young people that they are not tomorrow's leader, they are today's leaders. Yeah, and they have to take their position. We appreciate you so much, sir. And I know the other day we met and we are thinking of how we can do some work in Samburu. We thank you so much. And we're taking, I think it's one of the ways of demedicalizing health. Yeah, so that we work with the community. We appreciate you and the institution that you are leading, putting a smile on these young people. I think it's not easy, but thank you very much. And welcome, sir. I know that you had a colleague. Please, tell them we appreciate the work. And I think soon we'll be in Samburu. Yeah. I told you I started working in Samburu. That was my first station with the Minister of Health. Yes. So guests, you're welcome. Please, the ushers, make sure that you take our guests to the showcase rooms so that we can be able to catch up with our program of today. We appreciate you. And those ones who have already been through, I think it will be good for you to join with us in the auditorium as we await to start the program. Thank you very much. We wish to also recognize the presence of Dr. Kirgen Barmasai, representing the Ministry of Health. By the way, the Ministry of Health Kenya nurtured AMREF. And therefore, we have a very strong working relationship through AMREF Health Africa, and by extension through AMREF International University. Dr. Keegan, we have students here from the ministry. They are doing part-time, and that is part of our role to build the capacity of the health workers, irrespective of where they are. And we are so grateful that they can have an opportunity to continue with their education. I was telling some of them that during our days, my days, of course, if you didn't make it to the university, that was the end. But now the doors are open, yeah? And I think we appreciate the government for making sure that we have opportunities. So welcome. We don't take this for granted. We know that you have a busy schedule, but you have set time aside to be with us. Most welcome, Dr. Keegan. Thank you. All other guests, we welcome you. I know that we have the Nursing Council representative, and Mukuna, you have arrived, and we want to thank you for joining with us. You know that we have had a program together to upgrade the nurses. We have worked together to develop new curricula for the nurses. And you have examined our students, and you continue doing this. So Nurse Council, we want to really appreciate you. We know soon we'll have, I know that we also have the representative from a regulatory body, that is the Commission for University Education. You're most welcome to be with us. We thank you for working with us as we started this difficult journey. You are our mentors. You told us things point blank. At one point, we thought it was too, you are too strict, but we learned through the process. And we want to appreciate you, the commissioners who have had to work with us, and the entire Commission for University Education. We want to thank you so sincerely. Other regulators, the physiotherapy, we are also honored to have one of us who has been with us, but is also a leader out there. And I think it is important to also recognize our own who have climbed the ladder. Yeah, my good student and a colleague, I want to appreciate you. So humble, but yet you are the president, isn't it? Not only Kenya, but East Africa of the physiotherapy. Wow. And I want to thank you so much. This gentleman, we worked with him on the physiotherapy, and we appreciate that he can be the leader in East Africa. Please, ushers, make sure that you take our guests to the showcase areas. Yeah, and be mindful of the time. Okay, we'll help you. So wherever you are, our ushers and the guests, please, we are left with 9 minutes. So make haste as you go through the showcase areas so that you can join with us to make sure that we start our program on time. So ushers, please help our guests so that we can go through the remaining stations and be back in the auditorium on time to start the program. Thank you. As our guests continue arriving, we want also to recognize the presence of our group CEO, Dr. Vidinji Gitai, who has arrived. We want also to recognize our counterparts. We have representatives from the University of Nairobi, of course, Kenya Methodist University. We have Kirinyaga University, Machakos University. Feel welcome, please. We are so grateful that you could join with us. We have also representatives from USID, Dr. Nzomo Mwita, you're most welcome. Royal Media, you are here with us to cover this occasion or this function. Standard Media Group, we welcome you so much.
Is
Ushers, kindly usher in the guests because we are gone already beyond the starting time by about 4 minutes, please. Yeah, make sure that you usher in our guests.
Health workforce everywhere health workers that people need. And this
we also recognize the presence of a representative from the Ministry of Education, Mr. John Olutua. You're most welcome, sir, to be with us. Ushers, please help the guests make their way to the auditorium in readiness for our evening program, please. Please, wherever you are, organize your team so that you can bring our guests to the auditorium. Kindly wind up the showcase tour so that we can bring our guests in. Thank you. Kindly make way to the auditorium. Our program is we have already gone beyond by 5 minutes, and we want to start on time because we are operating in different time zones, and a delay would mean getting into trouble with time. So please make your way to the auditorium. Thank you very much. Our guests feel welcomed. We've just been talking about the history. And of course, today we'll be sharing where we would like to go next. Not alone. We don't want to walk fast, but we want to walk a long distance, isn't it? And if we want to go far, we have to go with others, and we want to go together with you. So feel welcome. Yeah, I can see our GCO Group Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Githinji Gitai, is around. We have also our guests, His Excellency Governor Olenko with us, and the First Lady. We want to appreciate them. Those ones who are not in the room, I was just talking about the AMIU Health Africa and how Mount Kilimanjaro is so important to AMIU Health Africa, and so to the university. And you know, part of Mount Kilimanjaro, I mean, when you are in Loitoktok, it's just next. You can see it. However, the snow is fading away. Yeah. So we thank you so much for your support. Kajiado is important, in an important area for AMREF, where we have done so much work together, and we continue doing same work. And I also want to remember our friends and partners. We appreciate Makueni County for working with us. We appreciate Kiambu County for joining with us. We appreciate other counties where we have our mother institution, AMREF Health Africa, working with. They have a footstep in all of the 47 counties. And we want to thank you, the people of those counties in Kenya. We also want to thank all those that are watching, joining with us online. In South Sudan, in Uganda, in Senegal, in the Netherlands, in the UK, in America, in Canada, in France, in the Scandinavian. We thank you for walking this journey with us. Please, ushers, make haste. We need you here. We need you with the guests. I know it is interesting to see what we are currently doing, but we need to redeem time so that we can do what we wanted to do today. We appreciate you. Please bring the guests in so that we can get started. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. The chair of the council, Donny Courier, you're most welcome. Thank you. We want to thank the council for the great work that you're doing to make this institution great. We appreciate your support to all of us as we work together to make AMREF International University the preferred Pan-African Health Sciences University. Yeah, and we just want to thank the government of Kenya, for giving us an opportunity to have our base here. By the way, AMREF Health Africa is an international organization headquartered in Africa, in Kenya to be precise. Yeah, and we are proud to be the organization that cares about people. Ubuntu, we care. And we want to care for one another, and that is important. Yeah, I see my colleague, Dr. Catherine. I know we sat in this room and physiotherapy was born, isn't it? You remember we had tables around here. We want to thank you so much for your contribution, and the continued support. Thank you. Please make your way in kindly. Please, let's have one meeting. Make your way in, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please make your way through. We need you in. Thank you. Kindly make your way in. Kindly make your way through. Thank you. Ushers, guide our guests. Make your way through, please. Guide our guests. Thank you. Most welcome. Welcome, Karibu. In a few minutes, we will be streaming live, and therefore our counterparts, wherever they are, our guests, wherever they are, our friends, partners will be joining with us so that we walk together. Thank you. We are starting the program. So those ones who are out, please, can you make your way in? We'll move on to now this. I hope you have a program. We are done with the first part where we are showcasing. Now okay. The second item that we have here is a little bit of entertainment, then we'll have our national anthem. So AMREF students, AMIU students, please, let's get the first piece. AMIU students, please, let's get the first piece.
Very big problems because the National Treasury has not released the almost 3 months now, and that need to happen because without that happening, counties are unable to provide services, and counties are unable to provide to pay for services and have already been provided for. Hence, the big problem with benefits.
Good afternoon. My name is.
The court pronounced itself about CDL. We are a country that abides by the rule of law. You saw what happened when we went to an election, and the court pronounced itself on the results of the elections, and all the people say we abide by the court's ruling. And therefore, as it is, for us, is to say, what have the courts ruled? And because we are a country
Good afternoon.
that is governed by the rule of law.
My name is Arisi Stephen, a continuing nursing student in AMIU University. So I'm going to recite a poem about the new strategies and the changes it's going to bring. So the poem is called New Beginnings. The beginning is the most important part of every plan. With it comes change. And in AMIU, we don't fear change. We want and welcome change. Sometimes we still quake and question ourselves, but we won't step back. We want and yearn for change. Growth, development, results are parts of our journey. We welcome change. We support from AMREF Health Africa, collaborations with government systems, partners, and other organizations. We welcome change. We want for change. With all that support, a new beginning starts. A beginning with plans of change, plans of greatness and excellence. We welcome change. With strategies such as to provide, to develop fit for purpose leaders for Africa's primary healthcare, to bridge the knowledge to practice gap in training, research, and community service, to drive evidence-based primary healthcare for lasting health change in Africa. We welcome change. With belief, trust, and faith in our strategy, we welcome change. And when time comes, we'll receive the fruits of our labor, and we'll look back, smile, thankful, and grateful. It's with courage that AMIU, a Pan-African university, takes the next step forward in new beginnings and inspiring long-lasting change in Africa and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. We don't fear change. Yeah, whether you fear change or not, change is for sure. It will come. So we will, I think, stand up for the national anthem. No, it's okay. It's okay.
O God of all creation,
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu. yetu.
Can take our seats. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just get seated, so we'll pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for your love, Lord. Thank you for all these guests. We thank you for AMREF Health Africa. We thank you for AMREF International University. We thank you for our partners, the governments, the NGOs, the private sector. We thank you for our students, oh God. We thank you for all those that have joined with us, oh God. We want to pray even for the regulators, oh God, as we interact with them, Father, during this journey. We just want to appreciate their contributions. Father, for this afternoon, we want to invite you in our midst, oh Lord, that, Lord, as we go through this session of launching our strategy, that you will begin with us, oh God, and walk with us. So that, Father, at the end, when we achieve, we see the vision being realized, we'll be careful to give you all the glory and honor. We want to thank you even for those that are yet to join. We pray for them that, Lord, you will hasten their steps so that, Father, they can join with us. Father, we thank you so sincerely because we have prayed and believed in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome you to watch a video, and please.
This is my auntie, proud and adventurous, curious and honest, energetic and a little crazy too. She's a natural caregiver, a teacher, a wise woman. She's 60 plus, but you never ask a woman about her age. My auntie is one of a kind. I trust her with everything, big or small, because I know she always wants what's best for me. She taught me that your health is the only true wealth. Her bigger dream, making sure everyone can lead a healthy life. Maybe you've met her too. Every day she visits communities where she is the accepted voice. Everyone respects her good sense. She sits down, never judging, just listening, challenging views, removing barriers, creating solutions, and soon enough, the whole village. No big deal. She's just creating lasting health change. When I think of it, my auntie's pretty amazing. She transforms my community, heals my country, and makes our continent blossom. Did I tell you I have a lot of aunties? They're all AMREF. Wants to be like them? Join us.
Wow, thank you so much. I want to recognize the presence of His Excellency, the Governor of Kajiado, Governor Olalenku. We are pleased to have you in our midst. We thank you so much. We appreciate you because we've walked this journey together. I know that we are in this building together, and as a result, there are students funded by your county. We want to thank you so much. We also want to recognize officially recognize the representatives from the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, NGOs, other universities that have joined with us. I know Nairobi University have joined with us, and you are here with us. Thank you very much. We've done work together, and you will continue working with us through this journey. We thank you so much. Kirinyaga University, we thank you for joining with us. JQuat, welcome. And all those that have joined, even online, in Sudan, Uganda, Senegal, Tanzania, the Netherlands, USA, Scandinavia, France, please, Canada, feel welcome and join with us. We thank you so sincerely. We want to also thank you, our GCO, the Group Chief Executive Officer. We appreciate you. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you very much. We recognize the presence of our chair of the council, Muduni Karaoke. Thank you, ma'am, for taking this mantle and moving us forward. We know that without them, it is impossible for us to move forward. And we recognize each one of you for joining with us this afternoon rather. We appreciate your support. We want also to recognize our own students who are with us here. Thank you very much for choosing Amref International University. We don't take this for granted. I was telling a story that we dared to open the university with only 9 students. Are you mad? Are you insane? We said, yeah, we have to be insane to move forward. Yeah. And I know that Dr. Githinji, you love the young people. The young people are not tomorrow's leaders, they are today's leaders. And I've told them to take their position right now. It's not about tomorrow. So 9, now we are counting 1,500 plus. Not because of us, but because you also dared to work with us. We appreciate you so much. And I think I wouldn't go so much. Each one of us has made a contribution in this house and outside this room. Thank you very much. At Amref International University, we believe in each other's strength. We are borrowed from our mother institution. How can we work together? Ubuntu. We want to support each other. We are encouraging our students to support each other. They are not here for competition. They are here to grow. And that is the motto. They have to support each other to grow. Thank you very much. So I'll move on to our next item, the video, yes. Yeah.
Amref Health Africa envisions a world where everybody, everywhere, and especially in our continent, Africa, has access to quality, accessible health services without the difficulty to pay. But this cannot be possible if we do not have a reach to health workforce everywhere, health workers that people need. And this is why Amref International University is focused on delivering the health workforce for primary health care so that Africa can achieve universal health coverage. It's access, it's equity.
Amref International University across the borders. We train for the African market. And that is because there's no borders. And so we need to train health workers who work across borders. That is very unusual because universities don't do that. They are normally home-based. One thing that is very unique about Amref International University is that we are part of a bigger Amref program. So the people we train have an opportunity to be exposed to projects in the field and in hospitals, to interact with patients. That means they come out ready to work because they have been part of implementation. So it is skills that is enriched with real field experience. You don't find that anywhere because most universities are not owned by ongoing programs.
Equity in access to health education is high on our priority. Many young people who choose to come to Amref International University do so because they want to help others. However, the cost to higher education is an insurmountable barrier. In Kenya, 85% of qualified students who are coming from marginalized communities are unable to access higher education. Amref International University will change that by offering scholarships to those that need it the most.
The last message there is very important. Please join with us to sponsor more. You can sponsor a student for one semester. You can sponsor for a whole year. Yeah, you can commit to contribute towards the scholarship fund, and that is welcome. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to invite our chair of the council, Muthoni Kariuki. First of all, before I do that, Chair, may I recognize Patricia, the CEO for AMREF Netherlands. You have a big heart, and thank you very much for your support. It's not, we don't take that support for granted, Patricia. Tell our colleagues that we value their contribution every step, and you've been with us for a long time, and I know we are in this together. I also take this opportunity to recognize the presence of our guests, I think from the Minister of Health walked in, Minister of Education rather. And please, we appreciate you for all your contribution. I want to invite our chair, of course, as you come. We are so grateful to have a chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Charles, who is joining with us online. We appreciate you so much for your support during this time, Dr.
Thank you very much, Francis Namisi, and thanks for giving me a new name. My name is actually Muthoni Kuria. It's okay. Thank you. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to today's event, the launch of our strategic plan. Now, before I make my remarks, we're going to amend our program slightly because the chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Charles Okellam, is in London. He's about to take a flight. So we are going to ask him to address us first, and then I'll come back. So. Connect him, please. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm not sure if the system is working. Can you hear me, Muthoni and colleagues?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. Thank you very much. And thank you for indulging me on this issue. It's an issue of logistics. Otherwise, I would have stayed with the program, ladies and gentlemen. This is an auspicious occasion and a very important one, which would have merited, of course, the extra time to stay with you. But I'm glad to see from the room that the hall is very well filled, and there are lots of representatives from various stakeholders. This launch of the Africa of the AMREF International University is important. The strategic plan that underpins the university is critical, and it is a rare occasion that has brought all organs of the university together. The partners that are here with us reflects this, and it is also an important moment for us all. It is a moment of reflection, and one in which we would think about how far as an institution we have come, but also to recognize the challenges that lie ahead. About 8 years ago, the International Board of AMREF Health Africa made the momentous decision to start a university. We were all excited at that point because the university fits well into the vision and mission of our organization, AMREF Health Africa, which, in wearing the hat of the chair of the Board of Trustees, I also wear the hat of being the chair of that international board. The In fact, the university is a natural progression of the training arm of the entire program of AMREF Health Africa. And this has been in existence for 65 years. Before the university started, we were already graduating diploma students as well as bachelor's and master's students in collaboration with other universities. All we needed to do, therefore, was to consolidate the gains that we had made in the area of training over the years into a functional university. Today, I must say that the decision by the International Board was among the best things that have ever happened to our organization. Producing graduates who carry the vision of AMREF is the surest way to bridge between the past and the future of the AMREF movement across the world. In AMREF, and I would like to say here just before I continue, there's a famous statement that says that, that the youth are the human cassette. And there is something wrong with that statement, of course, when you think about it. Cassettes are dated, but the meaning, there are no more cassettes. Those are things of an earlier time. But that statement that the youth are the human cassette, I think reflects the view that it's the youth that are going to carry on in actions the memories of the previous generations. Therefore, producing graduates who carry the vision of AMREF is indeed the surest way to bridge between the past and the future of the AMREF movement across the world. In AMREF, there's a change that we long for. We're indeed disturbed by the health situation in Africa, and this does not give us peace. We know that change will not come in a day, and so we're producing people who are committed to making the change and carrying the vision when we are all gone is just the best thing that can happen. So it's important that we imbue into the new generation the ability and the capacity, in effect, to be able to continue and to develop and build upon the work that has already been done. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not mean to say that starting the university has always been a smooth ride. The university and all of us have had our share of challenges which come with every startup. At the Board of Trustees, we've had to take a range of decisions with regards to the viability and the capacity of the institution to meet its objective. However, what has helped us is the agility in the organization, the ability to quickly learn and adapt. In fact, it is in the spirit of a learning and agility that we have collated, discussed, and refined views from all quarters to come up with a strategic plan that is being launched today. There's also a spirit in AMREF that lingers on from the time our founders started the organization. You may know that they used to fly to remote places of the continent and take great risks in doing so. There was a fantastic book written by one of the founders who explains the actions that they took and the precarious nature of the activities in very bad weather. But they would never turn back and land the plane. The adage was always no turning back. They committed to achieving their mission even in the midst of adversity. Just as it was in those days, we'd like to think it is now. Successful programming in Africa is still fraught with challenges, but they will be overcome, just as the challenges were overcome back in the day. The higher education sector has its share of the challenges and is not easy to navigate, as I've explained earlier, and especially if your university is one that focuses on the poor and neglected parts of Africa. I'm sure people must be wondering whether we will get money to provide quality training and do research in these poor communities. As the chairman of the Board of Trustees, I want to assure you that we will do what it takes to support the university to meet the noble goal, we have no option but to meet the targets that we have set in this strategic plan. And in that regard, and in that vision, in part of our vision, there is no turning back. We will put money in infrastructure, both physical and virtual, until our objective of reaching every part of Africa with a trained health worker and evidence to improve public health care is realized, and there will be no turning back. We do realize that if we have to succeed, this is not a journey we can travel alone. We need partners to walk the journey with us. It is therefore my hope that all of you here present today and others that we will be approaching will be open to exploring opportunities within the strategic plan that we can jointly work on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to, at the end of this small statement, introduce you to our Chancellor of the University, His Excellency, the former President of Botswana, Mr. Festus Mogae, but he's unfortunately not available to attend today. So having made my statement now, I think from a protocol point of view, I'll say thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that we have great discussions today. I sincerely hope as well that you will support our objective in building this university even further, and there is no turning back. And with that then, Master of Ceremonies, let me hand back to you to continue with the proceedings. I thank you all very much for listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chair of the BOT. Thank you for your very encouraging and inspiring comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back to the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm sorry for confusing names. I worked with somebody who was called Dr. Muthoni Kariuki in AMREF and keep on. I'm sorry about that. And I also want to correct, it's not the group, but it's the global Chief Executive Officer. And at this time, I want to recognize a very important person in the organization. Datton is our Group Chief Finance Officer. Is the one that takes care of the monies. And Datton, thank you very much for managing on our behalf. We thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you. Okay, at this point, I would wish to welcome Professor Osur, the Vice Chancellor, AMREF International University, to take us through the strategy. Prof, welcome.
Good afternoon. It's so good to see you. I hope you are okay. Sometimes when people are addressing others, you are never sure that you are being heard. Are you okay? We welcome you. I think our chair of council has welcomed you, plus my colleagues. My role this afternoon is just to give you a brief overview of what this strategy is about, what is in there. I believe that you will find something that will be of interest to you and that we can follow up on. From the start, I want to say that we are building a university of primary health care in Africa. And as I go through this, maybe you will see why that is the theme of the strategy. In this strategy, the university is focusing on health, education, and research. And within that, communities at the center. And that is why it is primary health care. There are so many problems, health problems in Africa. The high disease burden. Do you know Africa has the reputation
of having the highest proportion of sick people. And secondly, a rapidly increasing population and inequitable access to health. I normally say there are two health systems in Africa, one for the rich and one for the poor. And for the poor, mostly, it is the primary health care, which is non-functional. And so the inequitable access is a big problem. And we lack money. We lack money. We spend just 1% of the global health expenditure. And yet, the population of Africa is what percentage of the world? Yeah? So, 17. So 1% of expenditure for the 17% of the world population. We have high mortality rates and most of the deaths are preventable. And as a result, low life expectancy. And then only 3% of the world's health workers are found in Africa to serve the 17% of the world population. And you know, we are seen as a risk to global health security because now diseases cross borders very easily. So if you have a sick continent, they are a danger to the rest of the world. And still in the area of development, without health, you cannot develop. So we will not achieve SDGs if we have a sick population. And so we, in those three areas of health, education, and research, in the area of health, we have our objective of developing fit-for-purpose leaders for Africa's primary health care. Fit for purpose, meaning that they understand the context in Africa and they are able to appropriately respond to the context. But not just responding in offering nursing care and physiotherapy care and public health, but taking leadership. I think for those who have done leadership courses, you know that leadership is about charting a path and creating change. We believe that the reason why health problems have persisted in Africa, you remember even in Kenya, when Kenya became independent, disease was declared as an enemy. Many years later, over 60 years later, we are still seeing it as an enemy. Reason being, we are unable to change some things. Maybe we are doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. That is what someone has called what? Insanity. So we want to change this insanity. What can we do differently to change the health status in Africa? And we believe leadership is very important. So as people go through their training as health workers, they should have a mindset to change the status quo. They should ask what is the problem and what do we need to change for things to be different. And so for us to achieve that objective of having leaders who change the status quo, we are going to transform or to reform our curricula to include training in leadership for primary health care. And we are going to also build the soft skills of our health workers. You know, for you to advocate and change the status quo, you need to have some skills. And also how you interact with communities and patients needs to be different. You also know, colleagues, that not every health worker trained in Africa is having a job to do. And yet we don't have health workers. And so they need to also impart entrepreneurship skills so that we are able to use the skills we have to create more employment, and to employ ourselves is very important. And so we are going to impart that as a common course for all our students. And then global health perspectives, because we are saying health knows no borders at this point in history. And so we are going to also, if you ask the medical regulators in Africa, the courses that are very important for primary healthcare, most of them are not even recognized or regulated. And so we are going to also look into those courses, professionalize them, and work with regulators
to make sure that they are recognized and regulated. And develop some more curricula in that area. So in brief, that is the kind of health response that we have. But now, don't forget, we are not a health program. We are a training institution of higher learning. And so we are looking at effective health education in Africa. Now, when you look at education issues in higher institutions of learning in Africa, I know most of you have gone through our institutions. The way programs are delivered, the models that people use, the common one is the lecturer knows, the student does not know. So you are lectured, yeah? I keep saying, whenever you disagree with your parents at home and you're trying to tell them something, they will always remind you, don't lecture me. Yeah? It means there is something that does not help us when it is just lecturing. We have to look at ways that can help us to engage with learners. And so what are we going to do about that? The models of delivery. And mostly for health training, it has been face-to-face. It has been predominantly, and we value our British heritage, having worked quite closely with the British. But our learning systems encourage memory. So I lecture, you memorize, and you reproduce in exams. We want to change that. I'll tell you why. Then the second problem we have in education is equitability of access to health education, especially at university level. Education for those who need it most is lacking. So if you're in Kenya, you go to Samburu and you have a child born in Samburu where health services are most needed, or somewhere in some remote county of Kenya, or a country in Africa where there are not many training institutions, you find that those students who are there have also the least access to training for health. And so we lack health workers in those places, and we lack training for health workers in those places. And so our institution has to find a way for improving access to training in health in Africa, and I'll tell you how. And then finally, market readiness is a challenge. When you leave the university, most of the time, you cannot easily fit into the job market because our universities don't train you to be ready most of the time. You take time to learn about the job market before you can fit. So what are we going to do? We want to sustain an education ecosystem that promotes equitable access to learning for the development of appropriate primary health care workforce. And in this, the mode of delivery for the training that we are doing is a strong virtual offering that enhances training at a distance to reach those who need this service and are unable to get it because they were born in places where it is difficult. And so we are going to have computer learning centers in those places. Remember, these are also the people who may not have a laptop or a phone. So we have to have computer learning centers where they can go and do their training. But we also know that for health training, that is not enough. So we will have health facilities and mentors in the locality that then work with these trainees to be able to impart the culture that we want and build activities that also help on hands-on experience. In creating equity to health access and education, we are going to proactively look for students from places which are least reached with training and with health. And for the learning method that we've talked about, we are going to change from top-down, memory-based, to learner-led and competency-based experiential learning, which integrates theory and practice, so that when you come out, you are able to work and you are also able to thirst for knowledge. You know what top-down does, that memory-based kind of learning, is that you read for exams. When the exams are over, you stop learning. What that has done for us is once I leave college and I get employed, I stop seeking knowledge. And so we are not having very many learning professionals, those who continue to learn well after college. Now, when you're doing health services, the load of knowledge that comes every day from research is so much that if you stop learning for a month, you're actually getting outdated. And so we have to give our learners opportunity to learn how to learn. And so our pedagogical method is to help them do that. How we will achieve this? To make sure that we are actually reaching parts of Africa that are unreached with education in health. We are going to move our student population. We currently have students from 19 countries, but only about 5% are from other countries. We have 1,500 students. We are going to move that ratio from 4% to 50%. So in the next 5 years, when you talk about AMREF International University, half of our students will be from countries that are really in need. And we are thinking about countries like Somalia, DR Congo, South Sudan, places where access to education in health becomes difficult. Now, for us to do that, we know that these are students who need to be supported. And so a strong scholarship program to help us achieve that objective is being put in place. Now, the training methods that we adapt also must be those that help us to train at a scale. And so the learning centers that I talked about, our capability to offer quality virtual training is very important, and ensuring that we are still able to link these students to hospitals and our AMREF projects and projects of partners, so that as they get the theory from computer learning centers using our open and distance learning model, they are still able to also get the practicals they need, and they are able to also get some face-to-face interaction to build their culture in the way that we want. The research challenge. So research is part and parcel of what universities do. But the challenge in Africa is that research is never funded. The funding for research in universities in Africa comes from outside. What that means is that the agenda for research is not set here. I want you to think of COVID and how it hit us and the evidence we were using to respond. And we did a good job, I think, within the circumstances. But imagine, His Excellency Lenku is here from Kajiado. We blanket said we are locking down. Now, His Excellency comes from a nomadic community. How do you lock down a Maasai with his cows in the house? Yeah, it means our interventions were not informed by contextual evidence. It was informed by evidence from other places. So the need to do research which is context-based, to generate evidence for primary healthcare which is localized, to have the drive for research coming from Africa. That is what we hope to do. But within that, for us to do that, we have to build capacity for our people, for our students, for our partners to be able to develop and do research. And so that's a big one for us. Now, the end result has been that most of the research done in Africa does not help Africa. In fact, Africans have to buy the research by subscribing to a journal to again get that knowledge. It doesn't inform policy very frequently. So we have to come up with ways of making that information accessible. We have to be able to translate the evidence into action. And so for the research area, that's what we are looking at. So developing capacity for research, very important. Growing resources for research, very important. and enhancing use of that evidence locally, very important. And that's what we are looking at in the next 5 years. So for us to do that, we have our targets of how many people we want to train, how much funding we want to put in training. We have indicators of how to assess how the research we are doing is impacting primary health care, and also how much money we are actually generating as a university and using towards research. The fourth area of our work, which cuts across training and research, is what we call extension, consulting, and innovation. All universities are supposed to link the academic work, whether it is research or training, with what happens in communities. And when you look at universities in Africa, this is one of the weakest areas because we don't have models that work. How do you ensure that as a training institution, you are linked to industry, you are linked to field implementation, and you are working with partners to be able to translate and integrate knowledge and practice? That is a very weak area for most universities in Africa. And it is an area that we will be developing because it's very important to train people who are not coming from, universities have been accused of being disconnected towers of, the people who are in universities sometimes don't really know what is going on in the ground. And so we have to change that. How we are going to do that is to collaborate. We are lucky as a university because we are owned by an ongoing program. I think you saw from the video, reaching up to 35 countries in Africa with programs and doing a lot of work with hospitals and ministries of health across Africa. So we are lucky because of that. Our lab is well set. Whether you're doing community health, we can link our students to a community program. If it's a health system program, we can link them. If it's a clinical course, we can link them again. So we are lucky because of that, and we are going to ensure that we exploit that opportunity so that there is no disconnect between academic work and actually what happens in the field, because we have to produce students or graduates who are able to do the work. So we have our targets around that as well. So beyond that, there are some cross-cutting priorities that we have. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are a Pan-African university. And being a Pan-African university means we are working across cultures. We are working with Francophone Africa, Lusophone Africa, Anglophone Africa. Even within a community like ours in Kenya here, there are so many different cultures. So we have to create an environment where people feel that they contribute and they belong. This is not new to AMREF. AMREF as an organization co-creates with communities. And so we are able to navigate within cultures to work together to create solutions. And that for us also applies to the university. So the diversity, equity, inclusion agenda is very important. Use of technology as we enhance our virtual offering, as we make sure that those virtual offering opportunities lead to quality education, as we make sure that even the administrative systems are able to serve you, whether you are in Kenya, in Senegal, in South Sudan. And by the way, we've even started receiving students from India and other places. We want to make sure that technology is helping us to do that. And quality, of course, when you show your certificate from AMREF International University, we want people to believe that it was quality training. Now, some of the things that we uphold highly include what we are calling our cornerstones for success, include a satisfying student experience. Now, remember, students are wholesome people. They're not just people who, they say that work without play is what? Makes Tom a dull boy. So we don't want to produce dull boys and dull girls. we want to produce a well-rounded person. I think you will have opportunity to see some of their presentations here. They were to do it earlier, but because of change in program, you will see that later. They are growing into a comprehensive person in all aspects of life. And that is very important if you are going to be a change agent. You have to be someone who is mature in all ways. And that is very important for us. And our staff, global in nature and motivated and focused in the work that we want to do, and functioning systems, as I've said already. Local and regional global recognition of the courses we do, very important. So working with regulators to have our courses accredited across the board, very important for us, so that the certificates that our students get, whenever they go, they are seen as important. And of course, financial resources that I can talk more about briefly. Our model of financing, we are a social enterprise, meaning we try to raise money from the activities we do. We don't, we are an NGO, so we are not really profit motivated, but we must raise money, and especially for us, if we can get surplus money to support those poor students, we will be very happy. So we are working with partners on that. And in this strategic period, our recurrent budget will grow from 2 million to 7.5 million US dollars, with some of it coming from tuition and scholarships for students and research grants. And I think more important also is that we are a growing university. I think after, when you're coming for our next strategy launch, it will not be here. You will see where it will be. We are going to have a big campus, a modern campus that has all the facilities that we need. So putting it all together, our vision is Africa, that Africa has a skilled workforce that leads to evidence-based interventions for lasting change. And our mission is to develop a competent workforce and evidence that drive equitable access to primary health care across Africa. We have those 4 areas of work that I have talked about: developing fit-for-purpose leaders for Africa's primary health care, sustaining an education ecosystem that promotes education at a distance to train many people in a quick way and in a cost-effective way, driving evidence, research evidence that is locally generated and used locally, and ensuring that there is linkage between academic and what actually happens in the field of implementation. So if you were to briefly say who we are, based on this strategy that we are launching, we are Pan-African. For those who do history, remember the Pan-Africanism movement. We are strong together and we leave no one behind. The spirit of Ubuntu, that is what we are, Pan-African. And we are promoting equity in access to education in health, and especially looking at those places that have been left behind. We are lucky to be founded and owned by an NGO program, and so we are able to use that to leverage our training and make our graduates ready for the market. We are health science oriented, so we are not going to start a course in BA history. Of course, we may do the history of medicine as part of something, but not as a graduation course. We are community-based. We are part of the DNA of AMREF Health Africa, and that's why we are training for primary health care. And so being part of that big program also, we have a unique data set of research opportunities and opportunities for students to be placed and to be part of outreach. And being part of an international organization, I've talked about 35 countries in Africa, but we have countries in Europe, we have Canada, we have North America, USA. We are highly connected, and we are giving students opportunities also to be part of that global network. And we are student-centered as a university. That's why the issue of diversity, equity, inclusion is important. And our offering is innovative and driven by evidence. So we welcome you to partner with us in implementing this strategic plan to achieve a strong evidence-based, evidence-driven primary healthcare in Africa. And I know because you are our partners, you buy to that agenda, and we will be looking forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Our distinguished guests, members of the University Management Board, our staff and students, good evening. You look very nice from here. Please say hi to your neighbors, smile with them and tell them Beatrice has said hi. Yes, it's good to see your smile. You have beautiful smiles from here. My name is Beatrice Mukusa. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for AMREF International University. I'll be taking you through a very exciting journey of what Prof has talked about. Thank you, Prof, for such a very a good presentation. If I can have the slides, please. I believe you've all seen how big the plans are and how big the targets are. So because you have been part of today's launch, you've listened very carefully. I believe you'll work with us to ensure we've achieved those targets, and you'll hold us accountable to achieve that. So mine is very, very interesting, and I'm excited to share with you these plans. I'll just give a short introduction. Currently, for some of us who went round, we are in 2 blocks, and we have a capacity of 522 students. We are growing very fast, and we are soon outbursting that. And hopefully, by the time I finish this, you'll have seen the big plan, and you'll continue to pray with us so that that is actualized. We are pursuing our accreditation, and our deadline is November 2024, by which we should have made our formal application for us to be able to have the CUE inspect and then eventually give us the charter. Then in terms of land consideration, as part of our 5-year strategy, you've seen what the VC has talked about. We are looking at a capacity of 1,500 students joining us physically on the campus. The seat of the university will be developed in Northland. Some of you know about that. It's about 50 acres of land. And for you who know that area, it's about 18 kilometers from the CBD. And because of that, we have engaged construction firms, we've engaged different professionals, architects, and I'll be introducing them a bit later. And they started the work in May 2022. Okay. Okay, so I will take you on this journey. Okay, this is not showing. Okay. Can you see the pointer? Ah, very good. Thank you. So I'll start from where Thika Road is. Thika Road is around here. It's about 18 kilometers to where the main gate will be, right there. We'll have a small roundabout, and then we'll have a bus park where our students will be dropped. And then this whole road will take you round to the building. So this will be done in phase 1. I'll be showing you the buildings that will be constructed in phase 1. So phase 1, I'll start with this part. This is the School of Public Health and the School of Medical Sciences. This is the library, which is the iconic or the signature building. And you can see the graduation square is right next to where the library will be. So we'll be holding our graduation right here. The library is slightly raised so that we can use that as a dais to be able to conduct our graduations. Then right here is our student center. And students, you should be clapping. You can see it's looking nice. We'll also have some outdoor fields. We have football field, a hockey pitch, we have basketball pitch, tennis courts. And then right here, we have our maintenance building. We'll have some
water tanks right there, generator, and all electrical items will be here. Then still on phase one, we'll have a block of student housing, and we are envisioning to have a capacity of about 320 students. So that is your phase one. Your phase two is the purple color. We've just come from orange color. I hope you're good with colors, like I am. So your purple is phase two. Phase two, you can see it's an extension of School of Public Health and School of Medical Sciences on one side and on this other side. Then we'll have an extension of the Student Center, and this extension for the Student Center is catering for the indoor activities. So things like what? Ping pong, pool table, which other game? Students, drafts, table tennis, I hear, yes. So we'll have all that in there. This clicker is very moody. Okay. Okay, then the pink bit, can you see pink? Okay, so pink is phase three, and that's where we'll have a conference center, a training center, and the one that looks like is a square is our administration block. Then we have a little more of housing towards the bottom left part. Then phase four, at the top in the middle, you see blue. You've seen blue? So blue is our hospital. Yeah, so that is generally the how the what you call a site. There it is. Okay, it has disappeared. The site master plan. To the top right, we'll have a creational space so that our students, our staff, as you need to go and think and reflect, you can walk there, breathe some fresh air, talk to the birds, and enjoy yourself. Okay, next. This is an aerial view. The birds have gone away with the aerial view. The aerial view of how it looks, you can see where the graduation garden is, the Student Center, School of Medical Sciences and Public Health, where the library is, the playing fields to your left, the student residences to your right. Next is also a bird's eye view, just slightly closer to how phase one will look. And you can see the library being the center. You'll also enjoy the other features like the stream, yeah, and the walk paths, very well done. So the landscaping will be part of what is there. You can see the capacity. We are looking at about 2,000 students physically, 150 staff. I forgot to mention that above the library is where we'll have the administration housed, at least for phase one and for phase two. Okay. Another view, now combining phase one and phase two, you can see the extension of the student center to your left. The middle part is the library, and then to your right, in the middle, you'll see the extension of the School of Medical Sciences and Public Health, and then slightly to your right, you'll see now the graduate school being a separate building. And you can see the capacity has increased to about 3,000 students that will be physically present. This is how the gate will look. Are you feeling me? Yeah, isn't that looking good? Yeah, and it actually talks to AMREF International University. Okay, this is how the library will look, a closer view. You can see a closer view of that. School of Medical Sciences and Public Health. Just a little bit more for you to appreciate. Yeah, and this is how the student housing will look like. Students, I can see your mouths are wide open, eh? That's a place you want to come and stay, isn't it? Yeah, so please tell your friends that we are going there, eh? And prepare them for that, eh? Look at that. Yeah. Does that look like students' residences? Okay. Okay, and then lastly, just a short video for you to appreciate. Okay, thank you. You can see the deadlines up until when? December 2024. It's a tight one, but I'm excited to introduce Simon Woods, who is our chief architect. We've engaged Beckling Woods. Thank you. We are really pushing them to ensure that we construct within that timeline. I would also like to recognize, of course, our group CFO, who chairs the committee, the Infrastructure Development Committee, and he pushes us every day just to make sure that we're on time. So thank you very much, and back to you, MC.
Thank you so much. I think we have seen where we would like to be, and the journey of 1,000 kilometers starts with the first step. And I think we have started the journey. You are all welcome. Those ones who have been on AMREF for a long time, where we are seated right now was by a brick. Yeah, so if you have a brick here and you know where it is, please don't go away before seeing where you put your brick. Eh? So this could also be buying a brick, yeah, so that we can complete our university. Please allow me to give our student 2 minutes before I invite the, okay, good. I will go straight to the chair,
Yeah,
okay.
Our governor has a very short time.
Oh, okay. Our students, you wait, you'll have an opportunity. So may I invite the chair of the council, the University Council, Mudhoni Kuria. Please, maybe I'll change your name. Eh? Mudhoni Kuria to take the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Francis. I think I'll change my name officially. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all as excited as I am. Both, we now know who we are, what we stand for, and where we are going as an institution and physically. So thank you very much, Prof. and Beatrice, for taking us through that. And we were told earlier that AMREF is a young university that is agile and adaptive. And I beg that we adopt the program again. We are very privileged to have very good supporters, very good partners, and one of them being our governor of Kajiado County. Kajiado County has walked the journey of AMREF from the beginning, and the governor has been very supportive. You were told that they're actually sponsoring students at the university currently. And there are very many other programs that they're undertaking with the NGO as well. The governor kindly agreed to come to grace this occasion. He flew in today, this afternoon, and he has asked if we can allow him to speak to us now, not when we had planned for him to, so that he can leave. And he did ask that we allow him to leave immediately after. So it takes me, I'm very honored to invite our governor, Your Excellency Olelenku. Please come and address us.
Thank you, Madam Kuria. I'm very careful not to go the karaoke way. Of course, I knew our chair is called Muthoni Kuria, but I was telling Brother Githinji, I thought, women are blessed to have many names, the father, the husband. So the leadership of AMREF International University, Dr. Githinji, the chair of the council, Muthoni Kuria, professor, distinguished partners present here, invited guests, good afternoon. Habari za jioni, hamjambo. I am very privileged to stand here and to have a moment to greet you and to express our commitment to continue working the journey with you. I came with a small family of Kajiado. I was actually dragged in by my wife, who is also here. It is true, I came from outside the country. We went to a CITES conference in Panama. But because it is AMREF, I had to be here. So I'm very happy to be here. Let me request the members of Kajiado County who came this afternoon to be part of this function. Let me request them to stand. Thank you very much. And of course, seated to me is my dear wife, Edna. First of all, congratulations, AMREF International University, for the courage to be able to have that dream, and for working the dream, and for showing the commitment that you will deliver the dream. My congratulations to you today as you launch your strategic plan and as you take your organization to the next level, which I'm sure will carry forward many other institutions or many countries in Africa. And of course, Kajiado County, where it all started many years back. So my congratulations to you, Dr. and your team. And we came here to commit our solidarity that we will walk this journey with you. I am very pleased that even when many did not know that AMREF is going places, we took the gamble of siding with you and only decided to have you as our university, so to speak, by sponsoring students as a county government to come and do health sciences in your university. I am exonerated by today's presentation that we took the right decision, and I'm very proud. And I'm very proud that Kajiado County has a number of students here, and I was requesting Brother Githinji that we'll need more spaces going forward, and I mean it. We know that, as the earlier presenter said, that health is wealth, or the greatest wealth you can have. And we know the problems afflicting our country, from hunger situations here, from extreme poverty, disease. And yes, disease was actually declared at independence as one of the enemies of the nation. And so, besides the fact that you are targeting the whole of Africa, we can feel as Kenya that you share the aspiration of the founding fathers of this nation. We continue to have very serious gaps in health. And as much as we continue, government after government, to have the desire to strengthen our health system, and in fact, with the last attempt by the former president, Uhuru, to have a universal health coverage, While those intentions are good and a lot of strides have been made, we know that the gaps remain huge. And therefore, the work is cut out for you to achieve that healthcare workforce for Africa. In Kajiado, we have many uncovered areas. Of course, some times back, as you know, the Man Nation has continued to keep the culture for the country. We used previously to rely on herbal medicines and all that. Unfortunately, we have not had a mechanism to transfer that knowledge to younger generation. And therefore, we have many areas of the country that are not or do not have appropriate health workforce, and that require a lot of support with regard to the same. And that is why we want to leverage on your plan. Because mine was just to be part of the celebration or the joy and to commit that we'll walk this journey with you, I want once more to reiterate that Kajiado County will be very proud to walk this journey with you. We'll walk this journey with you. We'll even find more opportunities to even work closer with you. I want to challenge the council, and I will wait for Dr. Githinji to finish saying what he's whispering to our dear professor. You know, somebody said, when you stand here, you see better. I think our good lady here, Prof, I want to take you, the leadership of the university, that one time we had a conversation about you setting up a university in Kajiado, which was actually attached to our main referral hospital. And as much as we had a very advanced conversation with KMTC, Kenya Medical Training College, that they will give them space there, I want to say that there still remains space for AMREF. You know, it is yours for the taking. And I pray, as you know, that this is my last time as governor, because the constitution will not allow me to continue. And governors do not have the privileges of changing constitution to extend their terms. I know as Africans, we have had that problem, but Kenya is showing that once your term is over, you just walk. I want to say that your space is there, and I will be very happy if it can actually happen during my remaining 4.5 years. As a county, we can also put resources to realize that, because as much as it will be called AMREF, it is not going to be yours. It is going to be ours. It is for the people of Kenya. It's for the people of Kajiado, if not for the people of Africa. And therefore, that window remains open. Finally, I want to express our gratitude that your continued use of our hospitals as training places and practical areas have continued to support the provision for health services by the county government. And we will be happy that besides the fact that you are currently using our facilities in Kajiado County Referral Headquarters in Kajiado Town, Kitengela and Ngong, we have a lot more, many such facilities that you can leverage as you increase your student numbers, as it is very clear that you can extend those services to Oloitoktok down south, possibly to Ewaso, up north, and even towards Magadi, because we have facilities that are level 4 and therefore will be suitable for to be practical places for your students. And therefore, once more, congratulations. And I reiterate my commitment that we'll work with AMREF. And I'm very, very proud to be part of this conversation. And I reiterate again that Kajiado is where AMREF began, I think 67, 70 years ago. And therefore, we feel that AMREF Nietu, we are part of AMREF. Without much ado, I want therefore to return the mic to our chair, Madam Muthoni Kuria, and request that in a short while when I step out, please accept our regrets that we may leave before that happens. Thank you, our chair. Thank you. Thank you.
I want you to stay here. As we said, we keep adapting our program. We want to actually unveil the strategic plan in the presence of Honorable Governor. So Governor, please join us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to invite, please don't go away. I'd like to invite Dr. Githinji, please come, our Vice Chancellor. I'd like to request we remove the podium.
Can I also invite my wife?
Yes. Very important for you to have a good life. It can move this way. All the way to the back. Thank you. Thank you, Muthoni. Okay. Yes, we can remove the banner, please. Okay, I'll hand over the scissors to our group CEO. Pick the scissors. Yes, I know it looks fancy. Yes.
Very political.
Yes.
These politicians.
I would invite you closer to where the ribbon is. Okay. And then I will request that you cut the ribbon as we unveil. I will ask us to clap. Ladies, you can ululate. Yeah. Cut the ribbon. Wow. Okay, we didn't expect it to be that loud and that. Wow, but that is how we do it as AMIU, AmRef International University. One more clap. Thank you. Then I'd like you to stand for a photo. Yes, thank you. Okay, before you leave, we'll release the governor. I know you're in a hurry, and then we'll be left with the three of you. And then I'll hand, thank you very much. God bless. Yes, yes, please. Yes. Very good photo. Thank you. All right. So before you leave, I will give this to our chair of council. You're supposed to give to Daktari. Yes, and ask him to support us 150% with money. Do you want to say something perhaps so that we can record it as your before you leave? Say something to him. No, we carry on with the program. Okay. Oh, I thought you'd say, I'm handing this over to you so that you support us with a lot of money.
It's like an oathing ceremony.
You can't escape it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so that's a strategy.
Yes, Dr. Githinji, we present you with our 5-year strategic plan. As a sponsor, we thank you for the support accorded to us so far, and we look forward to a lot more support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Accepted. I accept.
Okay, Daktari, you can step aside. The next one is you're giving the VC so that you tell him, work hard to implement.
Professor Osu, VC of the AmRef International University, I present to you the 5-year strategic plan of the university and want to thank you so far for where you've brought the university. And we look forward to the university being a formidable university in the world. And we know you will do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Why don't we give them a hearty clap? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll request the strong gentleman to return the podium. Cameraman, this is still moving around, so please capture that for our website, our memories. A little bit forward. Thank you. Yes, right there. I'll hand over back the mic to the MC.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. Thank you, our VC, our guest. In fact, as I was seeing the guest out, GC and the VC and the chair, he told me that the Kajiado project is on, and you should convene a meeting as soon as possible. They have other partners that can work with us to have a campus. So that's the message he gave me. Thank you. So I think at this point, if you allow me, can we have an interlude, a very short one? Yeah. Our student, I think you're ready. Please come over. Do you need the mic? Oh, okay.
Good afternoon. I will be singing a song by the great Michael Jackson. I'll be doing a cover of the song. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And as we launch this strategy, you'll find that there's long-lasting change as we bridge the gaps in knowledge and in practice. There's ways to get there with research and communication. Make a little space to make a better place. Lord, give us strength to make AMIU a better place. For you and for me and the entire AMIU team. If we can work together, 'cause we care enough for the living. Make long-lasting change for you and for me. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And as we launch this strategy, you'll find that there's long-lasting change as we bridge the gaps in knowledge and in practice. There's ways to get there with research and communication. Make a little space to make a better place. Lord, give us strength to make AMIU a better place. For you and for me and the entire AMIU team. If we can work together with research and communication, make a little space for you and for me. Lord, give us strength to make AMIU a better place. For you and for me and the entire AMIU team. If we can work together, 'cause we care enough for the living. Make long-lasting change for you and for me. Thank you.
Wasn't that great? Yeah. Let's appreciate her once more. Thank you so much. Yes, together we can make AMIU great, yeah? Yes, beyond the continent. I heard my Vice Chancellor saying that we even have students from India. For information, we also have students from Middle East coming to us, so we can make it. Thank you. I'll invite our chair once again. This time I'm very careful. Mudhoni Kuria, please welcome.
Thank you very much, Francis, for getting my name right this time. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you again. We've already launched our strategic plan. And as you can see, we already have buy-in. We have buy-in from the student body, and I believe from the partners as well, because you're still here. So thank you very much. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you again. The last 1 year has been very monumental for us at the university, as we have achieved great strides in defining our future. Just to name a few of the achievements, we have developed the new strategic plan that we have launched today. Our staffing structure has been adjusted, and the staff complement is being optimized in preparation for the rollout of the new strategic plan. We have realized growth in student numbers, which is a direct response to the improved communication of our vision for the health, workforce, and research in Africa. We have concretized plans for the seat of the university and put timelines on moving to the new campus, which you've seen. Very impressive indeed. Reflecting back, I am amazed at what we have achieved together as a team. These achievements would not have been possible without the great support of our sponsor, AMREF Health Africa, through the Board of Trustees. Allow me to say a special thank you to the chairman, Dr. Charles Okelam, and to the treasurer of the BOT, who's also the global CEO, for their very keen interest in ensuring that we are fully supported. And we just got a commitment again from the CEO, group CEO, of that continued support. Our partners have similarly played a big role in our success. We work closely with governments across Africa, the private sector, and a number of non-profit organizations. Allow me to make a special mention of the support that we continue to get from the government of Kenya through the Ministries of Education and Health. The guidance from the government of Kenya has not only ensured that the quality of our programs meet the required standards in the country, but we are able to present the African market with standards that match those of any credible university in the global arena. I also want to thank members of the AMIU Council. If you're here, please stand so that we recognize you and appreciate you. Thank you. So you were introduced to Jonathan earlier. So Diana Muhaya is a member and also a company secretary, and Patricia, who will be speaking to us later. Thank you very much. We appreciate what you're doing. The oversight role has been amazing. We know that the university is at a very critical stage in developing its identity and niche. These new policies are being developed continuously to guide the operations of the university. This means that the council has to put in extra effort to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. I thank you very much for a job well done. I cannot forget to appreciate the effort that we have seen from the management and staff of the university. As a council, we appreciate your dedication and encourage you to continue in the same way. We are aware that the workload in the university is quite heavy, and we appreciate that you have gone beyond your call of duty to ensure the achievements that we now witness. Be assured of continuous support from the University Council. Concerning the strategic plan that we've launched, I would like you to note our great ambition that will transform health in Africa. We are not only developing skilled workers, but agents of change. For the time that African countries have been independent, health still remains a big challenge. We carry the shameful tag of a continent with the highest burden of disease, early preventable deaths, and inefficient and weak health systems. The narrative has to change. We believe that our students are the change agents that Africa needs to reach out its course in realizing lasting health change. We are therefore developing health workers who have the ability to transform their communities. We have instructed the management of the university to ensure that the curricula considered this aspect of training. We also believe that Africa will only get out of the current health status by developing homegrown evidence-based solutions. Our solutions need to be contextualized. This calls for generation of evidence locally. The research agenda of the university is therefore core to the change that we aspire for. The strategic plan has defined the kind of research which the university must undertake. Finally, our university is one of applied sciences. This calls for very close linkage of academic work and the real world of work, therefore ensuring that our graduates are market ready. The strategic plan will help us realize this. So I, once again, thank you for honoring us with your presence at this launch and promise to continue collaborating with all of you to realize the noble vision that we have. We again appreciate the support of our partners, and we acknowledge the governor of Kajiado County, and we have a few more guests I would like to acknowledge and invite to make a few remarks. And I'd like to ask Dr. Keegan Batilol, Senior Deputy Director, Medical Health Services, Ministry of Health, to please come and make a few remarks.
The Chair of the Council, Vice Chancellor, Group CEO. I didn't know I was meant to talk. That is a hijack. But I think it's well and done. I don't know where to start, but I'm here on behalf of the DG. I remember when I came here the first time, 2003. It was just that center there, very small. Just to be called a resource center, I think. And I'm happy to see the growth of the university. We work very well with AMREF Africa. And as we go towards discussing about human resource for health, it is a challenge. Human resource for health has been a challenge. As you produce for us, I'll say you're producing for us as a ministry and as a country. As you produce health workers for us, what we want is what is tailored to us. I think there have been a lot of discussions about human resource for health, whether you're producing for Kenya, for Africa, for the world. Basically, you have to produce what is quality and what can actually serve for us. As we go towards achieving UHC, we still insist that primary healthcare is key. And I know Dr. Gita is always talking about primary healthcare. It's in the bone marrow of his. And when it comes to, when we are doing our delivery of primary healthcare, AMREF is one of the biggest supporters of us. So as we continue producing them, let them be cultured and keep changing the curriculum. Professor, keep changing the curriculum. Things do change. So let's not be the old school that you're told change. I think the first video said, if you don't change, you remain where you are. So let's keep changing. I want to congratulate and really give the AMREF International University an applause. They have an ambitious plan. But I think without ambition, you'll not get there. So me, I trust and believe as a government, we shall get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batilon. And I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. John Altua, the Principal Secretary, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education. Could you please come and address us? Was he left? Okay. If he's not around, I would like also to acknowledge the presence of AMREF Health Africa, Europe, and North America offices representative, Patricia Vermeulen, who is also the CEO of AMREF Netherlands, very big supporters of AMREF. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here and to see all of you. And it feels like a very warm, not temperature-wise, but warm in spirit afternoon. A great day for a strategy launch that is super ambitious, but has every potential to succeed. And being surrounded by so many great partners, I know we will. And we do get questions. Is this going to happen? Are we for sure? Yes, we are. And all those students here today, students in South Sudan or in Ghana, in Côte d'Ivoire, it doesn't matter. Everybody will get the opportunity to study at this wonderful AMREF International University, born out of a job that AMREF was already doing for so many years. So it's not something we're inventing or trying to do. We've been doing this for so long, and it makes me very proud to be supporting the mission of both AMREF Health Africa and the AMREF International University from my end in the Netherlands with our colleagues in Europe and North America. So we will do our best to get more partners, to get more funding, and to make this the biggest success of AMREF, I think, in the coming years. So thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this journey with us. And I think that's all I want to say. Great.
Thank you, Patricia. We have other partners, and if I could ask Dr. Dan Okoro, UNFPA, to please speak on behalf of all the other partners. Dr. Dan Okoro.
Yes, indeed, the chair has ambushed me. And I can see the vice also smiling down. Thank you so much. And the global CEO, I know we used to call him GG, but he's very passionate on what he believes in. I remember the stories when I was a fresher and he was vying for the seat of AMSUN, not AMIU, AMSUN. So he's still related to this as a secretary. The story of the Rolex and the Luo man whose arm was amputated but was crying for the Rolex instead of noticing that the arm is chopped off. So I've refused to buy Rolex anyway. I don't know even if I can buy. But thank you so much. And also the Vice Chancellor, Professor Osul, who is also my great friend from them years. I think when I have enough soap, I think my beards also will be great. So I'm told to speak on behalf of the partners, but indeed, first also just to congratulate AMREF International University for this auspicious occasion of launching the strategic plan, which has been ambitious, has been mentioned by all. It is the courage, the boldness that you have that has made you from the growth from 9 to over 1,000, and you're aspiring to get more students. And I believe you have the capacity and the ability, because where your vision is where yourself, the rest of the body will follow. And as they say, since you have made the bed, you must have to lie on it. I think for us, I'm a little bit, first of all, speak on behalf of UNFPA, because that's what gives me the bread of the day. UNFPA stands for United Nations Population Fund. So, we've been in great partnership with AMREF at the country level and also even at the university. starting from those days that Dr. Keegan was talking about, is resource centers, supporting the midwifery education, equipping the skills lab, starting this digital platform, and also the leadership management and governance university. I think we have Dr. Mika here. And it's just these small things that you're doing. And right now we're seeing this kind of growth that we have so far. And even before then, I remember you talked about the computer centers. It's a hospital where I was working, Kangundo. AMREF had I went when I joined there, I found a small room with these computers. Are they cream color or white color? That one, that just counts. Yes, and I reached, actually, it was very transforming for me to see the healthcare workers going into sitting behind those desks. Some of them, of course, as they punch those buttons like this, but it was learning and it was great. And I think I encourage them, and I believe this is also part of the recent learning that we are still moving towards to change their lives. Thank you so much. And we know the primary healthcare that you aspire, and the global CEO, Dr. Githinji, speaks of, is what will transform, which will change our health and transform this nation and the globe at large. PHC has been discussed many times, even in our years in the university, and ranging from the Alma Ata to the Astana, and we are still talking about PHC. The different issue is, and I think the Prof talked about it, is that when you're in the school, we speak about PHC. When you get out, it's not the PHC people talk about. The practice is not about PHC. We speak about more of the curative and talk about other things that you aspire to be. So how can we translate our academic, not just for the exams, but also just to change, to transform those lives? And we believe that your adaptability, flexibility, and resilience in the education system and also in the implementation research that you're carrying out will be able to help in this process. And we just encourage the innovativeness and effective solutions to address the current and even the future challenges that will befall us. We are living in a resource-limited place, but we must take advantage of the valuable partnership that you, and also resource mobilization strategies that you have put in place. We must distinguish ourselves that this is the place to be. As the late president used to say, that place that gives you the ability to do all that appertains to that degree. And let AMIU be that place that even myself, as I grow up, I will want to be part of that 2,000 students joining that place. As we thirst for the knowledge that transforms the lives and the community, leaving no one behind, I believe that you are going to have models and evidence that facilitates us to those transformative results, which for us as UNFPA, we talk about the ending preventable maternal deaths, ending unmet need for family planning, and ending gender-based violence and harmful practices, which is quite a big issue looking at the gender disparity. So we wish you all the best, and we, on behalf of all the other partners, we believe that AMIU will help us transform this nation and the world at large. Thank you, and we look forward to better opportunities. We will look, as UNFP now bilaterally, we'll have maybe more discussions and see what are the opportunities to plug into this strategy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okoro. I had promised myself I'll not ambush anyone else. But we have the presence of a board member of AMREF Flying Doctors, Jane Bhatia. You can say hello.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mudhoni, this is a real ambush. I was coming here to just have a view of what's going on, but anyway, I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. We are part of the AMREF Health Group. We are AMREF Flying Doctors. I'm sure you've heard about us. And we're happy to be part of this team. And we're happy that we are now having this university. We're happy with the strategic plan, and we're looking for bigger and better things. So that's all I'll say for now. This was an ambush, but happy to be here. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I promise that's it. No more ambushes. So we've adjusted our program as we've gone along. Our Chancellor, Dr. Festus Mugai, was supposed to join us online, but unfortunately he's not able to. So we are going to ask Professor Osu to make his remarks. Then after that, we'll have Dr. Githinji, our Global CEO, finish for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So our Chancellor, who is the former President of Botswana, who is unable to be here today, I must say I can't fit in his shoes, but I will read the speech which he sent with humility. And the other thing is that I think as we were going on, the clarification of the numbers of students, we have 1,500 students, out of which about 450, 500 are coming to campus all the time to read and do face-to-face, and the others are virtual. So just to clarify that. So let me take this opportunity to read the speech from the Chancellor, His Excellency Festus Mugai. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks an important milestone in the growth of our university. No institution can develop if it has not done its own introspection to define the value it adds to the world. In the last 1 year of our university, it has been a time for self-searching. We went out and talked to many partners in the education and health sectors. This process has helped us to narrow down our focus into areas that we believe will bring the greatest impact to our continent. I am especially excited that the university will be focusing on building human resources as well as evidence to improve primary health care. As you may be aware, over 70% of our populations receive health care at PHC level. It is at the PHC level also where disease surveillance and prevention happen. Further, health promotion is a key component of PHC. I am of the strong belief that if we can revamp our PHC in Africa, we will turn around the green picture that has been associated with our health systems in the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, health is dynamic. It changes by the day. Health workers must be trained in a way that they develop the right attitudes for lifelong learning to cope with knowledge that comes every day. Traditionally, most universities resorted to training methods that did not develop learners to thirst for knowledge and to be lifelong learners. In this model of learning that we have had before, the motivation to read and discover knowledge was not there except for passing examinations. This is something that AMREF International University has committed to changing in this strategy that we are launching today. The other worry for most graduates from universities in our continent is that they are not always ready to work as soon as they graduate. This is because universities for a long time have been seen as towers of knowledge that have little intersection with industry. AMREF International University is part of AMREF Health Africa. As such, students have the opportunity and privilege to be involved in the work of the sponsor organization. We encourage our lecturers and students to attach themselves to the projects of the organization for experiential learning. In that way, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we will produce graduates who come out ready to work. Ladies and gentlemen, our continent is among the most unequal in the world. There are many families who can access good health care, and yet still a bigger majority that do not enjoy that right. Many parts of the continent continue to suffer conflict and political instability. There are natural disasters, including adverse climate change events. All these factors increase the vulnerability of families and make it difficult for the majority to access health services. Our university is driven by the value of equity in access to healthcare. We believe that universal health coverage is possible if we make health available to the most vulnerable in the continent. In this strategic plan, we have intentionally focused on training health workers from communities in conflict, those stricken by poverty, and those who have been left behind for a long time. We will train health workers from those communities and support them to go back to improve their communities. The focus on communities in need also means that we must look for funds to support those poor students. In this strategic plan, therefore, we have set up a strong advancement office that will work with other AMREF offices across the world to raise funds for scholarships. By the 5th year of this strategic plan, our hope is that more than 3,000 students will be enjoying some form of scholarship. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to add my voice in congratulating the various organs of the university for a job well done, the Board of Trustees, the Council, management, and all staff have made tremendous contributions in shaping this university to be what it is today. And I encourage you to continue in the same spirit. It is the spirit of Africa. It is Ubuntu. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Su, for delivering the remarks of the Chancellor. It is now my great honor to invite our Global CEO and Treasurer of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Githinji Gitahi, to give his remarks.
Wow, what a long afternoon. Good evening. Please feel free to stand if you want to stand. Stand, stretch yourself. We are University of Health. So please stand, feel free to sit or remain standing. Stretch. This is primary healthcare, by the way, what you're doing right now. Yeah, good, excellent. So thank you very much. You may take your seat, you may stand. It's up to you, absolutely up to you. You can actually feel free to walk around. You know, in this community, we spend our time walking around trying to look for livelihood and food and everything. So it's not strange for somebody to just walk around. It's not strange at all. We are constantly walking around. So thank you very much. To the governor in absentia, I would like to really thank him for coming and gracing this occasion. We work very closely with the national government and the county governments, regional governments, Africa Centers for Disease Control, and other bodies, including the EAC, the West African Health Organization, WHO, UNFPA, USAID, CHAI, and many other partners that we work with. So thank you very much to all of you, to those representing the national government, Dr. Kigen, to those others from other national government bodies or agencies, to those representing county governments. We thank you because without you, our partnership would be void because, as Dr. Kigen said, we are training for the public health sector. And that is really important to recognize that we train for the public health sector. Chair, Council, thank you very much. We have a really, really great chair, and I would like us to actually give her a great applause. Muthoni is a chair who is full of humility, leads the team or management team, which is led by Professor Osul, with a lot of wisdom and humility. Muthoni has been part of the organization for a long time. Muthoni used to sit in the international board of the organization and was also in the board of trustees of the university, and was also in the committee that was actually developing the business strategy for this university before it was started. So she's actually a founder member of this university. That's why she is so passionate here. I can tell you that many chairs would be sitting there waiting to be appreciated and to be told when to speak. Muthoni is now a co-MC to my friend Francis here. Francis, after this meeting, I'll want to understand who Muthoni Karaoke is. So I'm sure there'll be a story behind it. So thank you too. And also I see other members of this community who've been here before. Nzomo, I see you here. Thank you very much. Nzomo is one of the people actually who are founding senior staff and directors of these training programs. I don't know that there is someone else who's there. Yes, please stand up and wave as well. So anyone else? And we have many other members. Yes, Nikki Blanda, please, Nikki. Nikki is not only a founding member of the university, but Nikki is a founding member of this organization. Nikki was actually the executive secretary to the founder of the AMREF group, Michael Wood. So Nikki is a walking encyclopedia of this organization. And she's one of those people who are forever young. When I meet her, she gives me inspiration. And she's currently working with another former staff of AMREF called Betty Muriuki to actually document the journey of AMREF by writing a book on the entire development of the health sector in Africa and the role of AMREF in that journey and the challenges of the health sector. She's actually documenting that as the chief knowledge partner. So Nikki, thank you. Thank you very much. I have never really asked you how old you are. I will not ask you because every time I see you, you look 36. So thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Nguti, thank you. I know you've been part of the outreach work of AMREF. A surgeon, maxillofacial surgeon, who's been involved in the work of outreach that this organization has done. So AMREF is a really rich history that all of us are part of. And for the students who are here, if you're a student, please stand up because you're the developing history and the future story and the current developing story of this organization. Students, please stand up. You're the reason we're here. And I know you're representing a community of 1,500 students and the future 5,000 and the future 10,000. Thank you. Keegan, that's the health workforce we are growing for you and for this continent. It's important for people, many of us here, to understand the expanse of this organization. AMREF, which is 5 years old now, has been existing for many years, as you can tell, and they developed a huge program of work across the continent for training, health workforce, delivery of health services, policy, advocacy, technical assistance to governments. In many areas, in many countries you go, the health sector actually considers AMREF as almost a shadow ministry of health because of the work we do and the fact that we never really build parallel services to the public sector. We work with the public sector hand in hand. And we work with the public sector, we believe, because we believe that the public sector is the one that has the primary duty to provide health and health services for the people, the citizens that actually contribute taxes to that government. So that role is held by the public sector. But of course, you cannot deliver the health sector or the health services of an entire country, entire community, singularly as the public sector. And therefore, you need the private sector under the guidance and stewardship of the public sector to deliver. And that's what we call a mixed health system that is nationally led. So we always believe that the private sector works to supplement and complement the public sector. So when we develop health workforce, we are developing that health workforce for serving the entire mixed health system. And within that mixed health system is also the civil society, which represents the people who are the right holders. And the government, as the duty bearer, must continuously engage with the people. And that is the role of civil society, to engage the government, the private sector, broker the trust that is needed, reach the farthest, as has been said, working with national, regional, and international partners. So AMREF, in delivering its programmatic work across the continent, reaches 35 countries. And we reach 35 countries with more than 2,000 members of staff. We have grown rapidly. We were about 1,200 members of staff. Now we are 2,300 members of staff. And that includes several entities. One, across the countries that we are working in Africa, where we're working in about 35 countries. We have also countries in Europe and North America, which have developed over the life of AMREF, all the way from the 60s, to support the work of AMREF. Because we say, as was said by Kagame the other day, that because we do things ourselves does not mean that we do them alone. And that means that Africans are doing things themselves. That's why AMREF remains the key indigenous African organization, working with the governments and the sectors in the continent. But we are leading our strategy. But that doesn't mean that because we are doing it ourselves, that we do it alone. So we have offices in Europe and North America that help us to engage the governments in those countries on advocacy, on strategy, on resource mobilization. And Patricia Vermeulen, who is the CEO of our AMREF office in Netherlands, is also representing those offices in the Council of the University. Thank you, Patricia, and for traveling all the way to come and present the organizations here. Thank you very much. And also for representing them in the Council, but also representing them as we are as an organization. The Netherlands office is one of our largest offices. I don't know how many staff members we have now, Patricia. 70 staff are in our Netherlands office. It's our largest office, but we have more staff in Italy. We have staff in US, in Canada. And actually, I want you to turn to your back and recognize a member who came from the Netherlands office, who is now, please stand up, who is now working with AMREF University as a secondee of the Dutch office, assisting with development of partnerships. She's actually the acting advancement officer, because we maintain a global exchange program across the organization. And we can get staff from Malawi, from South Sudan to go to Senegal. We can get staff from Netherlands to come and work here. And we continue to exchange because we actually recognize that our power is in our diversity. So thank you very much for the service. And we are only staying here 3 months. They're almost coming to an end, and I'm urging you to stay. So thank you very, very much. So beyond this group, so we have the NGO, we have the fundraising offices, then we have other subsidiaries or enterprises of AMREF Group. And those include the AMREF Flying Doctors, that's represented here by Jane Bhatia as a board member. So we create boards to ensure there is proper governance for each of the institutions. Then we sit on those boards to participate in them, but we let them be led autonomously, because then it's only a fool who believes that actually they know everything. And we are not fools. So we actually believe that we need to hand over to other people to show us the way. So Jane, thanks for representing the board of AMREF Flying Doctors here, which has now 5 aircraft flying people across the world, ensuring that you have emergency evacuation services. During COVID, AMREF Flying Doctors evacuated, I think, over 800 COVID patients across the continent, into Kenya, out of Kenya, and out of Africa. Over 800 COVID patients would never have had a chance, but evacuated by AMREF Flying Doctors. So thank you. And beyond that, we have what we call the AMREF Health Innovations. This is where we locate what we call our innovations. So when we get an innovation in the field, when we are doing the work that we are doing, we can then bring in that innovation and incubate it for the future. That means the technology we get for training community health workers on mobile phone, when it's discovered by the team that's doing work on training community health workers for TB extension, for malaria. We don't want it to die with the end of the project. So we bring it to AMREF Health Innovations, and that is extended. So those are our subsidiaries. We create subsidiary boards to run them, but we ensure that we support them. And then, of course, the reason we're here is another child of AMREF Health Africa Group, and that is the AMREF International University. And AMREF International University is a child that has actually grown. It's growing so rapidly that actually the mother is afraid that it's going to overtake the mother. But you know what? When this organization started, it started with AMREF Flying Doctors. And then AMREF Flying Doctors is what was born in 1957, doing outreach, going to provide medical and surgical outreach. We strengthen laboratory systems. But then those programs actually overtook the mother. That is why the child now is a subsidiary of the mother. And that's AMREF Flying Doctors. It was actually the original AMREF, but it is now a subsidiary of the child. So the child has grown faster. I'm looking forward to a time when this child, AMREF University, is actually now the home of the mother. Okay. So, and we see that going on. And therefore, our role as AMREF Health Africa, I know I represent the board of trustees here because the structure of the university is that you have a sponsor, and that's AMREF Health Africa. We create a board of trustees. The board of trustees appoints the council, and the council then runs the university. So we do an arm's length support. Our role is to look for the money that Muthoni and her council use to run the university. So we are breastfeeding the child, and I think we are doing a good job so far. Yeah, we are breastfeeding the child, and the child is growing very rapidly. Actually, is ahead of the what are they called? The milestones, development milestones. It's ahead of the development milestones. I'm told that we were actually expecting to have 1,500 students by end of next year, but this year we are going to close at more than 1,400 students, meaning we are already ahead of the targets. So thank you very much. The child is growing very rapidly. And I just want to reflect on that and say, why are we doing this? Because for us as AMREF Health Africa, we believe that health is the foundation for wealth. Africa has only 3% of the global GDP, the global gross domestic production. Only 3% of it is in this continent. And that is being shared by 17% of the entire population. By the year 2050, Africa is going to have 25% of the global population. 1 out of every 4 people will come from this continent. But we remain the poorest continent. And we remain the poorest continent with the lowest GDP. But why so? Because our people cannot develop human capital. And human capital is a cumulative value of the skills you gather, the health of your life, and the experiences to the time you get to about 18 when you're ready for the market. And if you don't develop adequate health, if you don't develop adequate skills through education, then you cannot have adequate human capital for you to recognize and to realize that potential of the individual. I'll give you an example that when you cumulatively add the skills, the health, and the experiences of the African people, by the time, and that's what we call human capital index, by the time you get to 18 years, ideally you should have 100% human potential to actually realize that potential, develop yourself, your family, your community, the nation, and the continent. But on average, African people reach 18. If you average all the human potentials, the capital index, human capital index, you end up with 40%. Meaning that by the time on average we've reached 18, we've lost 60% of our ability to realize our potential. If you are to compare that with Singapore, they reach 18 with 87% potential. We reach 18 at 40% potential. So you can see why we are poor and how you continue to be poor. Many years ago, the UK government, the British government, in about 1890, lost a war to South Africa, to the Boers in South Africa. And they had lost several other wars. And when they went back and they thought, the Prime Minister then sat down and said, we are trying to build an A-class nation, but we are trying to build an A-class nation with D-class citizens. Why? Because their soldiers were poor, they were malnourished, they were sick, they could never win a war. That is how the national health system in the UK was born. Because it said, we are going to create a health system to ensure that our soldiers are healthy and they're the most powerful so that we can win our wars. Actually, in most countries where universal health coverage was started and successful, it was because of a crisis. And for most of them, because at that time, the driving force was war, plague, and hunger. They were built to fight wars. So initially, the national health system in the UK was to serve the soldiers. And then it was expanded to the general population. And you know what? It is so unfortunate, but that's what used to happen then. The last group to be included to the national health system was women. So the conditions we're talking about here, discriminating women, leaving them behind, is not a new thing. Actually, women were the last to be included in the national health system. But why was it built? To create an A-class nation that could be able to be prosperous. So if Africa is going to be prosperous as per Africa Agenda 2063, we have to build human capital. And for us to build human capital, we must first start with healthy populations, because without people being healthy, children cannot go to school, and without adults being healthy, they cannot go to work. But when you look at then, how do you create health? You create health by building a system that is able to serve people where they are, as they are, where they work, and where they play. And that's primary healthcare. Recognizing that actually the role of the health sector is not in treating people. It is in keeping people healthy and avoiding for them to fall into sickness. 80 to 90% of the people are born healthy, and they should stay healthy. But occasionally, things will happen for them to fall into illness. That is what we call the health care system that must then pick them and return them to health. So when a child is born with a cleft, then you get Dr. Onguti to take her to theater or him to theater, repair the cleft palate so they can breastfeed and get back to health. When somebody has an unfortunate incident of an accident, or somebody has cholera or TB or malaria, you take them to the healthcare system, they return to health. But the bulk of our work should be in keeping people healthy. And in that construct is primary healthcare. And primary healthcare has 3 pillars. What else has 3 legs in Africa? The African stool. So those of us from the villages, what else has 3 legs? The African kitchen. Because when you're cooking, you have a stone here, stone here, stone here, then you place a jiko on top, and the fire is under. Primary healthcare has 3 legs, and the first leg is primary care. Primary care meaning that if somebody is sick, they can be treated near as where they are. And that primary care includes, of course, prevention, like vaccinations must be accessed by children. You're looking at mothers must be able to access, a good outcome when they're pregnant, bring life when they are alive. It covers all those things that you may need. Primary care, malaria, TB, pneumonia when people are sick, or maintaining them healthy. That's the first leg of primary healthcare. For that, you need health workforce. You need people who understand what to do when the people are unwell, or even to keep them well. The second leg of primary healthcare is community empowerment and education, or what we call community empowerment and awareness. That you need an empowered community, which is the origin of AMREF Health Africa, ensuring that you make sure that the communities are aware of how to keep themselves healthy, that mothers are actually the most important primary healthcare workers. Because if a mother, there is evidence now that if a mother can read, not write or degree or diploma, if a mother can read, just read, they give their child a 50% chance of surviving to 5 years. A mother who can read gives their child a 50% chance of surviving to 5 years. That reduction of child mortality or child deaths, 50% of it is not because of the health sector. It's not because of the budget that Kenyan and the Ministry of Health and the counties receive. It is because of factors outside the health sector. That only 10% of malnutrition can be resolved by the health sector. The other 90% is resolved outside the health sector. So the communities must be empowered as producers of health. That the actual producers of health. And for you to do so, that is part of primary healthcare. And you must train people who understand that. Nurses who understand that, midwives who understand that, doctors and leaders in the health system who understand that actually health is not in the clinic where you're waiting for patients, it's actually outside. And the final leg of primary healthcare is multi-stakeholder action, ensuring that the health sector is working with the energy sector, with the transport sector, is working with the agriculture sector, the environment sector. Climate change now is becoming a big issue. You must understand those issues. So if you're looking at primary healthcare as those three corners of primary care, health workforce, understanding that community awareness and education is a critical part of primary healthcare, understanding that when you're working in a primary healthcare unit in a health center, that actually the chief is important because the chief guides the communities on ownership of land, and land is important for women. And when women own land, they actually bring up nourished children, and those children end up going to school and passing and becoming future leaders. When you train health workforce that understand this, then you have a holistic primary healthcare. And this is a strategy, ladies and gentlemen, for AMREF International University. Training a health workforce that understand the business of primary healthcare, that's able to provide care, understanding community empowerment and multi-stakeholder action is important. So what are we doing then as a mother? We are supporting the growing university. The figures or the pictures you're shown up here by Betty actually are not fiction. Many of you may have thought, oh, that's a good drawing. I want to promise you that we have money for phase 1 of that university. Yeah. And the money for that university is estimated at $23 million. And we have the money for that phase 1 university. Okay, we have it. And that money, we must recognize that it is not because of our might or the savings we've done, because as an NGO, you don't make profits. So you've not been able to save. So I want to recognize here one of our benefactors called Mackenzie Scott. Yeah. That because of Mackenzie Scott, who is a philanthropist, we are able to have $23 million to ensure that that beautiful university you've seen there is actually a reality by September 2024. That's the contribution of the sponsor to this university. Thank you, Simon, for the conceptualization, for ensuring that we have such a beautiful university for the future. So the money is available, but of course, we don't have money for phase 2, we don't have money for phase 3 and phase 4. So we are calling upon each one of you who actually knows somebody who can support us to develop the other phases of the university. Tell them to call us day or night on WhatsApp, on direct call, on FaceTime, or whatever form they can find easy for themselves, because we like to talk to them, because we want to finish phase 2, 3, and 4. But I can assure you that that university is a reality. The money is available from the sponsor through the support of Mackenzie Scott Grant. So as I close, I want to thank all of you, all of us, for being here, because this is a show of support for the work that we're doing. The sponsor, and on behalf of the sponsor, I want to confirm that we are fully committed to a growing, quality, excellent university that serves the continent of Africa with primary healthcare workforce that delivers healthy populations in the continent for the attainment of a prosperous continent by the year 2063, as envisaged in the Africa Union Agenda 2063. I thank you all for being here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
That was not enough. Applause, please. Thank you very much, Dr. Gidinji, for those comments and for assuring us that phase 1 will be completed as scheduled. As you are asking who are the pioneers, I didn't raise my hand. Yeah, but I'm a founding member of this university. Yeah, because the first program, the 2 programs, I developed one of them, health system strengthening. And therefore, I'm proud to be part of AMREF. And sometimes they ask me, for how long have you been in AMREF? And I say, as long as I can remember, because I started in programs and now I'm at the university. And I've grown because of AMREF. Thank you very much. You are a darling of the young people. And with your intelligence, I would like to ask you to just be patient a bit, because there are young people here who have something to offer. And they think if they go without offering this, it will be a disservice to them. If you allow me, please. Thank you. So young people, please walk in. Thank you. And then after that, I'll invite Professor Tamari Esho to give a vote of thanks and also direct us on the next course of action. Thank you very much. Okay.
Evening. So we created something for the strategy. We wrote something and I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, good evening.
Money, DX.
Oh, na, na, yeah. I hope you don't think I've lost my mind. Tunajivunia, 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 tunajivunia. Too many dreams, too many hopes, too many catchers, but we are one. Too many skis, too many jobs, too many reasons being around. Tunajivunia masomo bora na kwa hii dunia tunaongoza. Not to forget of the flying doctors. Oh yeah. Knowledge is power na AMREF ndo dawa. We come to quality iko sawa. Iko sawa. Oh yeah. Tunajivunia, 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 tunajivunia. Iwe Afrika Mashariki, Kusini hadi Magharibi, wejiunge na sisi, nakwambia rafiki. I'm proud to be Timia, happy to bless to learn, so najivunia. Basi jiunge na sisi, wejiunge na sisi. Knowledge is power, AMREF ndo dawa. We come to quality iko sawa. Iko sawa. Oh yeah. Tunajivunia, 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 tunajivunia. Afya mashinani, training and research. Afya mashinani, training and researching. I'm near to the sky. I'm near to the sky. Oh yeah. I'm near to the sky. Oh, to the sky. I'm near to the sky. Yeah. I'm near to the sky. Oh. I'm near to the sky. To the sky. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now it's rap time, hip hop about the strategy.
It sounds like you like
Hey.
Mauro, spice it up.
Hey. AMIU, AMIU. Strategies are AMIU. Excellence to AMIU. Greatness to AMIU. AMIU, 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 AMIU. Daily will go find me. AMIU, bigger change that's long lasting. Strategy to make it legendary. Building knowledge, researching community. Check the taste, fitter than the rest. Leaders for primary health, making better steps. Implement strategies to better our health. Fit leaders, Africa's primary health, and do the best in education, top class health sciences. I'm your nurses, I say it to be the best. With facility and student growth, come get a taste. World class clubs and facilities. Started from humble beginnings. Thanks to Mama AMIU for the opportunities. All the partners who made AMIU what you see. 2027, 50% student resources is gonna be from overseas. AMIU, 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 yeah, AMIU, yeah, AMIU, 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 AMIU. You're rapping AMIU.
You are today's leaders, not tomorrow. Thank you so much. Good, I'll invite Professor Tamari Esho to lead us in the next session. Thank you. Prof, welcome.
Thank you very much, Francis, and thank you also for the entertainment. One of the young men actually is a beneficiary of the Kajiado Scholarship, so we are proud of him also. So good afternoon. First and foremost is to thank the Lord Almighty for making today's event a resounding success. On behalf of AMREF Health Africa Fraternity, AMREF International University Board of Trustees, University Council, University Management, I wish to extend a vote of thanks for this momentous occasion. This is a very important day in our university's history, as we have just launched the strategy that will chart the growth and success of our institution for the next 5 years, and eventually impacting the health of our communities. I sincerely want to thank the chief guest, His Excellency Festus Mugai, for gracing this occasion, albeit in absentia. His Excellency Governor of Kajiado County and the First Lady for gracing the occasion and also making the commitment to walk the journey with AMIU. To all representatives of the Kenya government and other governments, development partners, university partners, collaborators, and stakeholders from all over the globe who've joined us virtually. We've actually had about 60 participants or attendees virtually from different countries, including Senegal, United Kingdom, Netherlands, South Africa, South Sudan, amongst others. We want to thank you for attending this event. I'm sure we will benefit immensely from your partnership and collaboration going forward. I'd like to express gratitude to the AMIU heads of departments, faculty, and students. Thank you for showcasing your work, sharing your skills and your passion to contribute to a lasting health change. Last but not least, a big thank you also goes to the members of staff who've worked tirelessly to ensure the success of this event, including the university administrators and logistics team. With gratitude, I wish you all success and good health in all your endeavors. May God bless you all. I now would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the cocktail at the Chancellor's Cocktail at the Chancellor's Lounge. I think the ushers will lead us to the lounge. Thank you.
Let's have the guests first, please, through this door. Yeah, please. Our guests through this door. And then the others will follow as directed by the ushers.